Hi guys, welcome along. What can I say? It's Galway week, Galway and Goodwood week, but of course Monday is the first day of the Galway festival, so we don't have Goodwood starting until Tuesday. Very much looking forward to the week's racing. Two of the biggest summer festivals, Galway. We'd all love to be down there. Hopefully, I might get there by the end of the week, but definitely 2022. We're very much looking forward to getting back to the Galway festival. It looks like it's going to be a cracking week of action. I can't wait to get stuck in. Both Galway and Goodwood really, really, really love those festivals. Some great racing, of course. Galway, we have the benefit of having flat and jump racing, and of course, a couple of big amateur races as well. This year they're doing the same as last year. They're not mixing the racing, so it's going to be all flat card, the national hunt. So we're not having mixed races. Look, Monday, it's a tough day's racing. It's a bit of a slow burner. We have a 7-race card. I have 4 races I'm going to take a look at. We begin at 4:10, and the first race I'm going to take a look at is the 4:10. It's a 2-year-old maiden, over 7 furlongs. We got 9 runners lined up here. It's a race Dermot Well has farmed down throughout the years, and he runs Duke to Sousa, a newcomer by Luke de Vega with Colin Keane booked. Very eye-catching indeed. This horse is after opening up about 7-2, 3-1, and he's been hammered already into 9-4, I think, at places. But he's first time out, and I've looked back through. I went actually back through the last 12 or 13 years of every runner that has won here. Always had a run first, so it's a big ask for a 2-year-old. You want to be very, very special to come here and win first time out. The track alone is very undulating, and it's a very tough test for a 2-year-old. Never mind, say, a 2-year-old first time out. So for me, he needs to run. Look, there's plenty of money knocking about for him already, but I'm going to go with Aidan O'Brien's Anchorage. He gets my vote here. He was seen finishing third on debut in a 7-furlong Naas maiden. He was the second from that race. Lines up here, Michael O'Callaghan's I Am Magic with Galway jockey Lee Roach back in the saddle. I think it's the two of these could fight it out here, I Am Magic and Anchorage, but I'm going to go for Anchorage. I Am Magic was a very expensive breeze up, but had the benefit of already having a run when he met Anchorage, who was on debut in Naas. So for me, the Galileo Anchorage with Shamey Heffernan on board to get us off to a flyer. I think one that could run at a price if some of the leading fancies maybe take each other on and cut their own throats, or maybe they aren't just up to the hype. Global Energy for Sheila Lavery, a son of showcasing, was a very expensive breeze up purchase in May. It cost 158,000 sterling. Was very good on the clock in the breeze ups. He's had the benefit of running in barrier trial, so he has had some racecourse experience. He's about 20-1 at the minute in the hands of Robbie Colgan. Sheila Lavery, she had a flyer of a Galway there a couple of years ago. I think she could have been nearly leading trainer at one stage. So she knows how to have a Galway winner. Her horses haven't been hitting heights as much lately, but they have come back to form in the last couple of weeks. So 20-1 could be one there to run into a place. The second race is a 3-year-old handicap. We've got 15 runners lined up here. Billy Lee and William McCreary combine here with Mother Country. A daughter of New Dawn Approach runs in the very famous Godolphin colours of Sheikh Mohammed. She was a winner over a mile at Naas. She comes back to 7, which mightn't be ideal, but she beat a Joseph O'Brien runner that day in Naas. She only beat her by a neck, but there were 4 lengths clear of the third. Now, the second horse has gone on from his 2 next races to win, very impressively in a Curragh Maiden, and then defied an £8 penalty to win a Leopardstown handicap. So she beat a very good filly that day. So she's got a lovely draw in stall 4. Billy won the race last year. Hopefully it's a good omen. So Mother Country for me, about 4 or 5-1 at a minute, gets my vote in the second. There's 2 handicaps in the third and fourth race. I don't fancy anything in those, so I'm going to jump straight to the feature race. It's the 5th race on the card. It's 6:15. It's the qualified riders 2-mile handicap, a race that every amateur wants to win. And it's the only race, well, one of 2 or 3, I think, huge big amateur races that Paddy Mullins, who's been leading amateur for God knows how many years, the last 10 or 12 years, if not 13 or 14, hasn't won. So it's a feather in the cap he definitely wants to have. His dad, Willie, saddled 6 of the 20 runners here, and Paddy decided to ride Hook Up, a very lightly raced 5-year-old. But for me, I'm going to go with Jodie Townend's ride here. She races off a 10-13, 10. Paddy Mullins would never have done that weight. I actually watched an interview with Paddy the other night, and he was saying I think he was very much looking forward to if he could ride Exchange Rate, but the weights wouldn't go up. So for me, that alone was a very good sign. Jodie takes a very valuable £5 off it, or he's back again. And Jodie won this race 2 years ago on Great White Shark. It actually put her on the map, really, didn't it? She's been leading lady rider now last year, if not till last 2 years. A sister of Paul Townend. She's a very, very good rider. So £5 off its back here, down off a low weight already. This son of Monsoon, he was a bumper winner first time out. It then went on and won the qualified riders mile and a half maiden here at the 2017 festival in the hands of Paddy Mullins. He then was favoured for the listed novice. He went on and won a novice hurdle in Wexford, and then went on and he was favoured for the listed novice hurdle at the 2018 Galway Festival. He fell at the first that day in the hands of Ruby Walsh, but he came back 3 days later in a novice hurdle and finished third, only beating a length and a half, which is a very good run. Willie never really brings him back that soon, so he must have thought a lot of him. He thought he was going to pick up a bit of a race that quick with it. He then went on and won a bumper at the 2018 Listowel Festival. He only ran on the flats since. He was beaten 4 lengths in the Irish Cesarewitch, and then was second in a 20-runner November handicap at Naas at the back end of 2018. That's the last we've seen of him. But he came back this year. Until this year in June, we seen him running Listowel. He finished fourth that day in 9. It wasn't a strong contest, I think, but not that it wasn't a strong contest, but I think it was a prep race for here. He done a lot of things wrong that day, and I expect him to spot on here, bring him back that form. I know he's a 9-year-old now, but he's very lightly raced. He's down the bottom of the weights. Jodie takes 5 off its back. Paddy was sweet on this horse. If he could ride it, I'd say he would have loved to have ridden it. The owners, Mrs. McPhee, they are, I think, they're Galway natives. They love to have winners in Galway. So for me, look, the prices are a bit fluctuating at the minute. Let the market settle down. There's a bit of 10-1 there. I think it's a super price. There was 14s earlier on. That was a way overpriced, and a lot of places she's about 7-1. So if it goes back out to 10-1, I think it's a cracking price. But at 7 to 8-1, still represents tremendous value each way. The other one I like at a price is Dennis Hogan trained Barry O'Neill ridden Zoffanian, a 4-year-old by Zoffany, very, very lightly raced, down low in the weights by a very shrewd trainer. Loves to have winners in Galway. He's been ridden by the leading point-to-point rider of the season, the last couple of seasons, Barry O'Neill. Very good rider. He could be right there at the business end too. There's some very useful form. And that brings us to the last race I'm going to take a look at. It's the 6th race on the card. It's a very competitive 3-year-old handicap. With Johnny Murtagh's Ever a Dream gets my vote here. A daughter of Australia. She was super impressive. Winner of a 1.5 mile handicap at Fairy House 2 weeks ago. She was very well supported that day and justified favouritism extremely well. She won by 8 lengths. She absolutely hosed in. I remember watching that day and thinking she'll definitely win again. She was supported a couple of times before that, let connections down, but she was fitted with cheap pieces the last day, made the difference, was super impressive. Gets the cheap pieces again. Ben Cohen, who's an absolute young sensation on the Irish riding scene, he takes over from Danny Sheehy. Of course, Ben is stable jockey to Johnny. Look, she's about 4 or 5-1 at the minute. For me, she's the one to beat here, I think. I'm going to go with Johnny's mare each way here. One that could run well at a price is the Henry Bromhead trained Cantina Zapata. Been running well and back on ground he like after winning a maiden in Dundalk. He's got a nice draw, and if the fancies don't perform, I think it can run well at a price. Boy Sports are paying 4 places in the race, an extra place, so 20-1 might be a bit of a small each way player here. I also want to wish the boys from Turlestown, who have their very first runner, the BFM Syndicate. I think I'm probably after mispronouncing the syndicate, but it's trained by Johnny Hassett, Binks. A couple of the boys that I know involved in the syndicate. So I want to wish Brian and Gary the very best of luck. And if I hopefully look. You need a bit of rain and that, and you've a bit to make up in the favour. But look, Galway, it's a dream, and hopefully it's a dream that could end well. So best of luck to the boys in that race. But those are my 4 selections for the first day at Galway Racing Festival 2021. I cannot wait for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday's action. Galway and Goodwood. We're going to ramp up the action as the week goes on. We've got the Galway Hurl and the Galway Plate Wednesday and Thursday to look forward to. The Mile Tuesday, and of course Stradivarius Tuesday in Goodwood. So it's going to be a cracking week's racing. The weather still looks like it's holding up. So all in all, it's going to be a great week's racing. I will be back tomorrow evening to preview day 2 of Galway and day 1 of the Goodwood Festival. And guys, remember, hit the like button, hit the share button, fire it out. And I'll talk to you again very soon. Appreciate all of you guys. Cheers.